Hello, how are you doing? Goodness me, it's been a long time. I know, I do apologize. I've just been doing a lot, hey? I'm also studying as well. I've mentioned this before, so you can imagine just trying to juggle all of these things. And also, I've been fighting to get a woman on the show because I've always wanted a lady on the show. That's, you know what I mean? And now with Women's Month, I was just like, no, we need to make it happen. So I'm really glad that, you know, the comeback of our episode is a woman. It really makes so much sense for me to have this lady on Rolling with Lebo Magolego. Other than that, I hope you guys have been keeping well. I hope you've been keeping safe. We're literally approaching the finish line, so just continue sanitizing, wearing your masks and social distancing. But yeah, with that said, let me tell you about who's next. How I got to meet Livhu, right? So now we're rolling with, oh my gosh, I said Livhu. So I learned something very interesting in Venda, right? Or if you're Venda, or you know, yeah, basically. So what I learned is that the V in you know, if let's say your friend is Venda, or you know of someone that's Venda, the V is actually pronounced as a B, right? So it's actually not Livhu, it's Libu, right? I'm sure I got that right, Libu. I hope I did, because it would be terrible after giving such an amazing lesson on the V as a B instead of V. Geez, you can tell I missed you guys. I'm just like, nya. Okay, so we're rolling with Libu, right? And so how I got to meet her is, you know, now that I'm journeying into, is that even a thing, journeying? But anyways, now that I've obviously, you know, I'm on this journey now into being a filmmaker, and one of the first things I wanted to do was I wanted to start growing with the right people, you know what I mean, in terms of crew, in terms of cast. I want to grow and start knowing, you know, people in the space, in the industry, and yeah, so I wanted to make one of my films. I wanted to produce one of my films, and I was asking around if there was anyone who knew a cinematographer. So I literally posted this on Facebook, and I was like, does anyone know a cinematographer? And then, you know, I'd occasionally look for a producer as well and stuff like that. So I was specifically looking for a cinematographer, and yeah, specifically a female cinematographer. So I had two, actually I had quite a few people mention names, but I was looking for someone who was in Gauteng. So one of my good friends now, actually Mangu, was mentioned, as well as Libu, right? Only unfortunate thing was that Libu was in Cape Town at the time, but now she's moved to Johannesburg, right? So I've been keeping in touch with her, and she's been doing amazing things, because you know, at first when we were speaking and she told me she just moved back to Joburg, she was telling me about, like, you know, if you hear of any gigs, or if they're looking for a cinematographer or DOP, or yeah, I was just like, dude, I'll definitely let you know if I hear anything. And you will not believe, her first gig just back in Johannesburg is massive, huge, and you'll hear more about that. Just keep tuned in, obviously. You'll hear about that, more of that, as we continue with as we progress with the episode. But yeah, so let me not say too much. We're obviously going to get to know who she is, where she's from, what she's been getting up to. But yeah, just, you know, if may as well throw it out there. She, for example, worked behind the scenes on Lockdown, the series that plays on Mzansi Magic, right? And then she also, right now, currently, or while she just shot, like I said, it was a huge series, big gig for her coming back. I don't want to say that yet because I want it to be a little surprise. But she's also been in over 10 international films, and obviously she's been on some local productions as well, amazing local productions. So I don't want to say too much, I always do. So yeah, let's get to know Libu.
For somebody that has never been to Venda, they can expect a whole lot of things, eh? Let me just start with the people. Venda people are beautiful. The hospitality is out of this world. The reception, we are very warm-hearted people. I think we get that from the heat because Venda is very, very hot. And yeah, and the funny thing about it, it's not even funny, but the weird thing about it is that it's one of the hottest places in the country, but then yet like everything is so green. Everything is just so saturated. There's colors popping out everywhere, and we're not selling you guys dreams about the fruits. There's fruits everywhere, and the nice thing about it is that you don't even need to buy the fruits sometimes because there's just fruits everywhere. So, yeah, that's what you can expect. The thing is, I've always been exposed to cameras from a very tender age, very, very young age, because my dad was a photographer. So growing up, there was always cameras in the house. There were cameras everywhere. And by the time I was growing up, he wasn't a photographer anymore, but then we had cameras that he was using back then, and cameras that he collected, so those became my toys. So even when other kids were playing with their toys and stuff like that, I was playing with vintage cameras, which I still play with even today. I still have them. So yeah, I've been playing with cameras like from a very young age, but I'm obviously at that time I didn't even know what I was doing. I was interested in them because I was the only one that was playing with those cameras in the house, and yeah, they just became my toys, my babies. They're still my babies. I still have them, and everybody knows that you cannot touch those because yeah. Everybody knows that, yeah, like you cannot go there. I have a special place in my house for them, and yeah, they're very special to me when I look back. But the thing is, I never thought that anything was gonna come out of me playing with those cameras. I never thought that this was the direction I was heading. Yeah, I never even really took it seriously. I was just a kid playing with my dad's toys. I actually obtained a bursary to study film and television production, and that is after I had been studying logistics and I had to drop out. And actually, I shocked everybody in my family because my mom and my dad thought that after matriculating, I will choose to go study journalism. So I just shocked everybody, and then I was like, no, I'm going to study logistics. And they're like, what is logistics and all that? And then I tried to explain to them, and they were just like, okay, but then we thought, but then they were just okay with it. And I went to study logistics, and it didn't work out, and I had to take a gap year. So my mom was like, you can take a gap year, and then maybe like after this year you can go back to study logistics, or maybe you can maybe by the time the year ends you would have figured out what you want. During that gap year where I kind of started falling in love with the media industry. Remember, I was at home and not really doing much, so I started spending time with my dad's cameras again. And I remember I even volunteered as one of the journalists for the local newspaper in Venda, and then slowly I was just getting so interested in the media industry. And I saw an ad on TV. I remember even the ad because wow, that ad changed my life. As human beings, I think we're very different, and just because maybe I probably went and studied now doesn't necessarily mean that I'll be like the best at what I do. Because like there's different ways of learning something, and there's just different forms of learning something, and there are people that are just really good at learning something on the ground, and there are people that are good at they need to go to school for something in order for them to be the best at what they do. And So yeah, I don't want to say people should go to school, and at the same time I don't want to say people shouldn't go to school, but then I'll speak for myself. The reason I kind of also wanted to study was I needed to know the depth of filmmaking, because there's a lot of history that goes into something, especially if it's something that you're not really kind of like familiar with. I might have been exposed to cameras at an early age, but then I knew very little about them. So if I'm going to go into filmmaking, and also if I want to learn more about it, I needed to study it, and I needed to study the history. There's history in filmmaking, there's politics, there's the theory part of it, and you can only learn that through being in a class. Also, I think when you study something, it changes your perspective, and then you get to actually understand even the world around you in a more broader way. So for me, I really needed to learn the history part of it, and also when you know where something comes from, you get to respect it even more. You know, you get to understand how important it is, and then you don't disrespect it, you know. So for me, I think going to school just made me respect the craft even more, and just knowing the amount of work that's poured into something. And even, you know, there's things that I also don't know that somebody that didn't go to film school can teach me. I started off as an intern at Urban Brew Studios, and yo, that was a boot camp. Hey, yo, oh my god. So yeah, I did the whole running around and all that, almost everything that a junior person does. Yeah, we did that, and yeah, it was just beautiful, man. I had people that have been in the industry for a very long time, just having to work closely with them and learning from them, their expertise and all that. It was amazing. It was really amazing. I learned a lot from just being an intern. One of the shows that I enjoyed working on at that time was a show called Zoned. It was a talent search show. So instead of us driving around to different cities, we had a website where people would send through their videos of whatever they're good at, and we showcase that on TV. The beauty about it was just seeing the amount of talent we have in this country, and also the way some videos will come through. Sometimes the quality of the videos will be so terrible, but then the fact that this person, they took their time and they're trying to show the world what they're good at. It was just so beautiful. And some videos you would tell that this person struggled to send this through, and but then they managed to get the videos to us, and then we would show the videos on TV and stuff like that. And I remember our website kept crashing almost every week because there was just traffic coming through. So for me, that was my favorite show. Also, to think that now people are performing online, using the internet to perform online and stuff like that. When my internship ended, I needed to stay home for a few months because you know how it goes. We never really employed full-time. So I was home and obviously feeling not so good because I needed to get back into a production or just be at work, be on set, and be happy, make movies, make TV shows and stuff like that. So but then after a few months of being at home, I got a call from somebody that I worked with at Urban Brew. They were like, hey, what are you doing? I'm like, nothing much, I'm home. They're like, oh, okay, cool. Listen, there's guys that are coming to shoot a movie here in Joburg at a Cape Town production company. So I've recommended you. So yeah, the lady will be calling you in a few minutes or hours time. But then the thing is, this is a total different department, and I don't know if you're interested. Or I was just like, you know what, like I've been home for like a few months. Like even if you were to say that I'm gonna have to scrub floors or what, bring it, I'll do it. She's like, yeah, it's in you'll be working in the accounts department. I don't know if you know anything about that. I'm like, no, I don't know, but then I will know. Just let the lady know that, yeah, I'm keen, I'm very keen. She must call me. And then she's like, all right, great, then I'm gonna let them know. And yeah, so that's how I found myself in the accounts department. It's one of the departments that is least known, or I don't know, people kind of take accounts department for granted, or they even make you feel like you're not even part of the crew when you're in accounts. You're just like, the numbers lady, or you're not even part of the crew. If it was according to some people, you won't even be part of the credits. That's how ignorant people are. Being an accounts trainee, I remember, so I got the job, and I got interviewed, and the lady, it was a white lady, she was the production accountant, and it was a big movie, it was an international movie. And then she was just like, while she was interviewing me, she was like, you know what a purchase order looks like, you know what an invoice looks like. And I was just like, yeah. But obviously I was lying, and I really needed that job, and I really just needed to be part of a production. So I just said yes to all those things that she was asking me. But then I told myself that no way, I will learn, because you cannot ask for you cannot expect a trainee to know so much. So in my head I was like, you know what, I'm gonna learn. I'll learn this, whatever she's saying, like purchase order, invoice, I don't know. And then I went and Googled purchase order, what is that? And I remember the first day I came home and I was like, Mom, I think they're gonna fire me. I think they're gonna fire me. These things that they're talking about, I don't even know them. My mom was just like, no man, they won't. And the team in that accounts department was amazing. We got along so well, and I got to tell them that, you guys, I don't know anything here. I don't know nothing. They were like, no, don't worry, we'll show you. So they kept showing me stuff and teaching me, and by the time that job ended, I knew like a whole lot of stuff. So like being in the accounts department means you need to do a lot of filing, because there's a lot of stuff that goes into it, and every single thing that happens in the movie or in the shoot, it goes through the accounts department. So your filing, you need to be like, your eyes need to be wide open, because if they say that they're looking for something, you need to be able to go into the filing room and take it out without even wasting like 2 seconds. So everything needs to be labeled properly, and I hate admin. I seriously hate admin, but then I got to learn how important it is to have your things together, to have your things proper, to not waste time, looking for something, to always make sure that like everything is proper, because like you waste a lot of time looking for something that you could have put it at its own place, but then because like you're lazy, or so for me, that role, it taught me a lot about my personal life. So yeah, it was challenging, because First of all, I hate numbers. That's why even at school I never did accounting. But then every single day it was just numbers all the way, numbers all the way. But then it was through being in that filing room where I got to learn almost everything that happens in the film business, not film production or the business side of it. So, and I could have never learned that part anywhere else. And I had to be an accounts trainee to actually understand the business side of filmmaking. And it's crazy. It's crazy. If a person runs a production company, you need to know that, wow, yeah, they go through a lot. There's a lot that goes into it, and I would always suggest that if you're a person that kind of wants to start your own production company, it's very important to spend time with your an accounts department, or just become an intern in the accounts department. You will understand, and you will be able to run your production company in a very successful way. In this industry, I think it's very important to be an all-rounder, because I mean, when you are an all-rounder, you actually an advantage. And I think every team desires a person that's good at multiple things. No matter how good you are at something, but then you need to be good at multiple things. I think it's an advantage, and I think that we are multi-talented as human beings, and there's no way that you are one thing, and you should be open to exploring. Okay, you can have things that you want to master, but then you should be able to opening yourself to learning new things, or just like equipping yourself with like things that you don't know anything about. So because I think that I'm not one thing, you know. I can wake up the next day and decide that, you know, I want to get into fashion designing, and I will probably be like so good at it. It's just like a matter of like opening yourself to learning, and and being an all-rounder has never actually proven to be something that is bad. No, it's an advantage all the way. So it's very important to allow yourself to learn stuff, because you might think that I want to be a director, and then only to find out that, you know, as you grow, you fall in love with like something totally different, but then within the industry. So you can never not accept an opportunity when it has been presented to you, especially when you have nothing to lose. Like, you can never say no to learning. That's how we become all-rounders. We learn. Working on an international set is amazing. It's truly amazing, because now you have people that are coming from different parts of the world, and you know, you guys end up like, you have like one goal, one vision, and you're just having like different expertise, different skills, and all that coming all together. It's just so beautiful. So yeah, one of my favorite international movies that I worked on is Leprechaun Return. It's a Lionsgate movie. It's horror. It was quite scary. It's my favorite because I've always wanted to. I love horror movies. I love scary movies, and it was amazing to be on a set where you just actually get to see how it's done. And on that set we had like people's heads being chopped off, like it was just blood everywhere, you know. So to be able to get to see how it's done, for me was just wow, you know. It was incredible. Working with those guys was beautiful. I mean, the thing is, it's always a great feeling to find yourself in a set where there's like big actors, like famous actors, well-known actors. It's a very humbling feeling. It's very humbling. It's beautiful. So even though like we don't get access to them in a way that maybe we would like to, but the fact that they are there and you are working on that set, it's always just so and it's always just so beautiful. And I mean, we always look forward to seeing our names on the credits, and you know, I just seeing your name on the credits with an actor like Adris or Sean Penn or like Charlize, you know, it's beautiful. I mean, it makes you want to work harder. If I'm not on set, I'm probably still shooting, because I run my own production company. It's a small production company. We don't do much yet, but hopefully as time goes on, this will change. So we do like photo shoots for like individuals or like weddings or birthday parties, and yeah, so I try to keep busy in that way, because it's the only way that keeps me it's the only way that keeps me sane. It's the only way that keeps me going. I cannot not be shooting, because yeah, it's just therapy for me. I usually share some of my work on Instagram. My handle is chaosemerald.tv, chaos_emerald.tv. I'm not that big on social media, and I'm trying to learn that. So yeah, I will get there.
So you got to get to know her, how she started off, where the goal began, where the whole dream just kind of started happening. And you can kind of see that when you're persistent, when you're always willing to learn, and instead of saying no, just say yes, 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 and you'll learn along the way, right? And I really took so much from this interview with Libhu. Like, it was just so inspiring how she, you know, didn't use the fact that she was home and she was just trying to find a job or something. She kind of just knew that whatever she's thrown, like if ever she's thrown into the deep end, you know, she'll know that she'll come on top of it all and in the end. And yeah, I hope you're inspired. I hope you, as a cinematographer sitting at home, or an aspiring cinematographer, inspiring filmmaker, especially because, you know, if you're a woman even watching this, knowing that you're going into a very male-dominated industry, we're about to change the game. We're going to change that, and you know, people like Libhu are just trying to open the way, pave the way, and show us that it is possible. But yeah, more than anything, really good to be back. We are going to be back to being consistent, relevant. I actually knew a lady who used to speak like that, like consistent, relevant, experiment, you know. I get puppy like this. I try not to. I think I'm just happy to be back. But see you in the next couple of... I actually want to have one episode come out per month. I'm considering now that I also get really busy, and yeah, I was trying the whole, you know, an episode every 2 weeks, but kun zema. For free.
And this is a dinner at Somizi's. Help me welcome Kostanski. So tell me, does it ever dawn into your head, but one week get in?
And they think it too much, because obviously it is in this one of those things we don't have the privilege to dream about.
So my friend, you want to change
Dinner at Somizi's, Fridays at 7 p.m. on One Magic.